know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
George Rutschman is an interesting one here. I mean, this was somebody that we were told was going to be a superstar. I feel like we've done this now with back-to-back young catchers on Baltimore that they've taken. They've taken Matt Wieters. Remember when they took him super high and everyone thought he was the second coming? Then they took Adley Rutschman. I guess the good news is they have Sam Basallo, who's supposed to be fantastic too, but can't whiff on three like that, can you?
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson has just decided that from this point on, he's more comfortable working at home. He'll save the $25 on New Jersey Transit. He'll save the $12 on the bagel sandwich he gets every day, and we don't have to see him in person. So that's the way it goes. Good morning, Tyrone. How you doing today, pal?
Good morning. I had an unsafe morning. Thank you very much. I'm glad I'm still safe and sound.
Unsafe because of the usual reason or a different reason?
No, the multiple crashes that happened today on the road. I should send those pictures. And then also, I'm standing out there with a train that says it's on the way. Next thing you know, it's a 90-minute delay.
Yeah.
Standing there on the platform.
More snow today here in the East Coast, but Tyrone is well, and he's at home, and it's all good. One of our producers has moved to Florida. We like that. We prefer that. So that's all good. And it's just me and Ethan, our Giants fan downstairs, bonding over doctor's appointments. He apparently went to the doctor yesterday because he's suffering from a disease known in the Jewish community as two belly button syndrome. And the doctor checked him out and said, no. It's not two belly buttons. It's just really cold outside. You'll be fine. Just rub your hands together. And he's here. So he's at work. He showed up for work. So I'm pretty happy about that. So let's start with the NBA, of course, because you had Lakers Magic last night. Magic win the game by 1, but how the game ended was fascinating to me, Tyrone. Luka Doncic's got the rock. Has a wide open three, about 3-4 feet behind the arc, so not a tough shot for him. Double clutches on it. Defender comes in, takes a dribble, has another open look at a three that would win the game if he makes it. Defender closes out pretty quickly, so he pulled a LeBron. He panicked with about a second or so left on the shot clock and the game clock, and then sends it over to LeBron. LeBron's behind the three-point arc as well, because why would you post anybody up or actually move on the final possession of the game? He tries a turnaround fadeaway three-point shot, clanks off the backboard and rim, no good, and the Lakers lose to the Magic. The Lakers right now are in a bit of a free fall as they're now the sixth-place team out west. But it's what LeBron said after the game that we need to discuss. So let's go to the locker room. George Michael Machine, we go to L.A. Here's LeBron James. Go.
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you have to ask Luka what he saw on that, but I thought he had a good look, and it looked like he kind of just lost his balance, didn't have a rhythm with the ball, whatever the case may be. And it kind of allowed him to get back in front of him. And I was kind of off balance when he gave it to me. I thought he had a great look, but that's what I look. That's my POV.
Okay, so let's unpack this real quick. First, let me start with the facts of what happened, okay? Because I was watching the game, and I've since watched all the slow-mo replays. In this particular instance, Luka Doncic's in the wrong. Luka Doncic had a wide-open shot, and I've never seen him in his career, to be honest, both in Dallas and the short amount of time he's been in L.A. I've never seen that guy, who's a generationally great scorer, pass up a wide-open look to win the game. So LeBron happens to be right. Now, LeBron has to be LeBron. So, of course, rather than just say, hey, tough night, I missed a shot. We'll come back a couple nights from now. We'll play better basketball, and we'll get back to the winning. He, of course, has to say, you got to ask Luka. I thought Luka had a wide-open look. Or I think he said good look. I don't want to put words in his mouth. He said Luka had a good look. But then he's got to be a LeBron. All right? He's got to say, well, I think Luka was off balance when he had the first look, and then he added, I was off balance too. Now, we all know what happened. LeBron James was not in the wrong in this particular instance. That's me saying it, which again further proves and doubles down on my statement many, many years ago that even if I don't like a guy, I'm going to be objective in how I talk about his performance. I don't like LeBron James. But last night's game is on Luka, not LeBron. The issue people have, myself included, is throwing Luka under the bus and then adding some type of off-balance scenario, which was not the case for Luka at all and was not the case for LeBron. He took the best shot he could get, which was a panic shot, not his fault. Little turnaround fadeaway three-point attempt that he clanked off the backboard in the rim. But you weren't off balance. You just took a rush shot because the clock was running down. But I'm trying to think now. What does Luka Doncic have to say when LeBron James says, I thought he had a good look. I don't know why I didn't shoot it. You got to ask him. Problems in the locker room. Tyrone?
See, that's what for is problems in the locker room. I actually thought LeBron was protecting Luka by saying he was off balance. I thought he was protecting him, not throw him under the bus. I thought that was protection. Here's the bottom line, though. Luka has to be better, and we've talked a lot on this show about LeBron, and rightfully so, being that he's the greatest player to ever live. But he's an older player, and this is supposed to be Luka's team. And the biggest limitation for this Lakers team all year has not been LeBron.
Yes,
it
has. Don't start that. Don't make this a season-long narrative that you're wrong about.
It's a season-long problem. I'm absolutely right about that.
Okay, what's the record without LeBron? I'll do this for you now. What's the record without LeBron?
I don't have it in front of me. What you're trying to do right now is change the subject from last night.
They're 15 games over 500 without LeBron. They're 500 with LeBron. Stop.
Yeah, but now let's just get to this. You have to also look at the opponents. You also have to look at the opponents, though.
Of course, that's what LeBron people do. LeBron people have to find excuses.
But the truth of the matter is, Luka has certain limitations that keep him from being the best player in the league. And last night, that was one of them. He has certain limitations because he's not perfect. So while we're ripping LeBron, go ahead and rip him. But to try to put this one in any way, shape, or form, before, during, or after the game on LeBron is pure hateration. Pure hateration. This was 100% on Luka, and LeBron tried to protect Luka after the game by saying he was off balance. He wasn't off balance. He was scared.
LeBron said that he was off balance. LeBron said, I thought he had a good look. You'd have to ask Luka what he was thinking about passing me the ball.
You'll hear him say, I think he was off balance on the first one. He absolutely said that. He just played the video of it. People heard it. I believe he was trying to protect him. This is a 100% Luka issue. LeBron should not be talked about today in any way.
It's funny because I thought I was done working with Nick Wright. I thought, when I left FS1 and came over here to do this podcast, that I wasn't sitting next to a LeBron stan who's on the payroll and finds nothing ever wrong with anything that LeBron James does. So let me unpack a few of the ridiculous things you just said there, if I can.
I didn't call you Skip Bayless not one time while you do a Skip Bayless impression. I never brought that up. Yet you bring up Nick Wright. I never brought up Skip Bayless at all.
Nick
Wright.
You
be a poor man
Skip.
Just
became
and
Nick
you
Wright.
are Skip Bayless then. You became Skip Bayless.
You're on the clutch
You love Tebow
payroll.
too.
Yeah.
You love Tebow too. Yeah, it's full Skip.
By the way, don't start Tim Tebow.
See?
I do like me some Tim Tebow.
See what I mean?
I'll
See
tell you
what
that.
I mean?
Not as a quarterback, as a handsome guy that if I was going to be gay, Tim Tebow's the first guy I'd call. I'll be the first to tell you that. I got no shame in my game. I happen to be straight, but if I was gay, Tim Tebow's the first. I'd speed dial Tim Tebow. Yeah, take that shirt off, run in the rain again, Tim. Throw me a couple footballs. I got you. By the way, playoff winning quarterback Tim Tebow as well, which is another story for another day. Look, I opened up the show by saying that last night's game, Luka's got to take that shot. I am not putting that on LeBron James. That's a wide open look for a great offensive player. And that's what Luka is. I cannot believe he passed up the shot the first time. I can't believe he passed up the shot the second time. Because after the stop dribble to the left, he's got another open look if he wants it. And he chose not to take it. Now, I'm not sure if he was trying to defer to LeBron because, he knows LeBron gets all sensitive if he doesn't get the ball in that spot. But you're talking about a team that is Luka's team, that is better when Luka's on the court. And Luka Doncic did not take that shot, and I'm shocked he did not take that shot. But when you go out there, and you've been an NBA veteran for 23 years now, and the reporters say to you, walk us through that last play, and we all know what happened. Luka passed up a shot, and we don't know why, because we've never seen him do it before. And LeBron James says, I thought he had a good look. You'd have to ask Luka why he didn't take that shot. He might not have meant it, but I know exactly what happens. He threw Luka Doncic under the bus, and that's not going to be a problem for your 6th seed LA Lakers. And I was just thinking about this, Tyrone. If the Lakers wind up the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, whatever it is, that's kind of the norm for the LeBron James Lakers. I'm not sure why anybody would be surprised that a team led by LeBron James these days is not a top 4 seed, not a top 5 seed, and when it's all said and done, will probably be in the play-in tournament. Yuck.
How much do you think tanking is hurting the NBA right now, too, and what we're seeing, like we saw with that Jazz and Orlando game a week ago? How much do you think that's hurting the game?
I can't wait until professional sports in the United States adopts a European model, especially like a Premier League model, and they start doing relegation. The day you start doing relegation, everything changes. Everything will change.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Suddenly Seymour is right here beside me. Little Shop of Horrors. The guys who asked me about Steve Martin playing the evil dentist. It's Little Shop of Horrors. I'm a big fan of it. By the way, one last thing on LeBron James, Tyrone. And I'm just going to state a fact, and then I'll let you try to clean it up, okay? And I'll give you as much time as you need to embarrass yourself if you want to. Now, if you just want to pass on this one, you have the choice. It's going to be called Pass or Play. New game on this show, okay? I'm going to state a fact, My fact will be void of opinion or subjectivity. It is just going to be a fact, a statistical fact. You then have a choice, okay? You can pass, and the fact will sit there alone and move on to the next fact or something else, okay? Or you could push the button and say, I want to play. If you want to play, then you can try to explain in the best way you can if there is an explanation or a defense of the fact. So it's called pass or play. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Here is the fact. Since LeBron James joined the Los Angeles Lakers, when attempting a game-tying or a go-ahead shot in the final 5 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime. So you know the parameters, okay? Tie or take the lead, last 5 seconds of regulation or in overtime. Since joining the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James has taken 30 of those field goal attempts. He has made one of them. 1 for 30 since joining the Lakers in the final 5 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime with a game-tying or game-winning field goal attempt. Your hero is 1 for 30. Do you want to pass or do you want to play?
Well, see, this is a tough question.
Pass
because,
or play?
Hold on.
No.
Well, what I'm
It's
going to do is
pass or play.
I'm going to play.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tyrone Johnson's going to play. Here's the parameters of the game. You have 30 seconds uninterrupted. You can explain that away however you best can. And then we, the judges, will decide if you win or you lose. So 30 seconds on the clock. I'll get it just so it's fair. Give me 1 second here. All right. This will be very interesting. 30 seconds on the clock. I've got the stopwatch. It's on 0 right now, so you know I'm not cheating. He's one. LeBron, I'll give it to you one more time. LeBron James, in game tying or go-ahead shot attempts since joining the Lakers, is 1 for 30. Your 30 seconds begins now.
All right. First off, I do not 100%, I want to make it clear, trust Craig Carton's number when he says 1 for 30, because I do not have the stat in front of me, so I cannot blindly co-sign it. At the same time, I can admit that once you get older in age, the legs start to go. LeBron James is not a young player anymore. He's playing now at north of 40 years old. Therefore, missing shots late should not be a big problem. That's part of the reason why they acquired Luka Doncic.
That's 30 right there. All right, let's go to the judges. Ethan, I'll start with you. Just in my ear, you say, does Tyrone win the argument and live to fight another day? Or is that argument pointless and baseless and the facts are the facts? Anthony, Ethan, what's your answer? Facts are the facts. 1-0 Craig. All right, let's go down to Palm Beach, Florida. And Ryan, if you could say in my ear, did Tyrone win that or did Tyrone not win that? We never want to see that video on this show ever again, please. Please make that go away. It's actually, by the way, I didn't invent this stat. I just saw it. It's actually a real stat that he has taken 30 of those shots. Now, look, I'll tell you that last night's shot's a prayer, not his fault because of when Luka got him the ball, how much time is on the clock, and he did the best he could to even get a shot off. But it's a pretty damning stat. If you want to say a lot of people out there think he's quote unquote bagless, and he's not the guy you could count on to win a game. Obviously in his career he's proven, many times prior to joining the Lakers that he's the guy you want with the rock. But since joining LA, that's a real number, Tyrone. 1 for 30 when he has a shot in the final 5 seconds of regulation or overtime to either tie the game or to take the lead, aka to win the game. So that's why, watch this, you're gonna like this. That's why I even question Luka's decision even more. Because since LeBron became a Laker, he's not the guy you want for whatever the reason is. And I haven't looked at all 30 attempts. Maybe there's a lot of them like last night where it's an impossible shot to make. It's a prayer kind of thing, to be fair about it. But if you know that it's your team, if I'm the alpha male on that team and I want the ball in my hands in that exact situation because I trust my own ability more than anybody else on the floor right now, which is obviously how Luka used to think, then how do you pass up not one but two open looks? Now, the first was more wide open than the second because he's got a closing defender on the second. But for Luka Doncic, those are two wide open looks to try to win the game. And if you know the guy to your left is 41 years old and is 1 for 29 prior to last night in that spot, why the hell are you not taking that shot? It just doesn't make sense. And it's easy to blame LeBron, but I think you got to go to Luka and say, what happened? I've never seen you pass up a wide open look to win the game. And I'll tell you something else. If I'm Austin Reeves, who's on the right side of the floor, I think, once he makes the pass to the left, who never gets into the play, and Luka's thinking shoot, then he's thinking shoot, and then he's thinking, oh my God, I better pass the ball because now I can't get a shot off. Austin Reeves is your second guy there, not LeBron James, based on the things you said. So that, to me, goes back now to J.J. Redick. You're down a point to the Orlando Magic. You've got possession. You've got time to get a good look. They did get a good look, so maybe I should take J.J. Redick off of this. But if the look is get the ball to Luka and everybody else spread out because our best offensive player is going to make a shot or get a shot off, I accept it as a play call. But the panic move can't be force it to LeBron 30 feet from the basket. So it's either on J.J. Redick or it's on Luka Doncic last night.
Yeah, and the other part is if you're going to do that play and it's not for Luka, how come there's no pick and roll action there? At least have LeBron be engaged or Austin Reeves be engaged in the play to get some movement. And also, why not attack the basket? You're only down one. So a lot of weird things there, but I think it just comes down to Luka did what Luka wanted to do, and it was the wrong thing last night.
Coming up, the NFL's in some trouble. We'll get to that story. The Combine is now officially underway, and we've got something I never thought I'd say again. A teenager starting on opening day.
Not only do you have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me, and yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on the island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still at James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey there, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson still at home in South Jersey. He told me he's not coming back into work until the Sixers win a game. So that might be a little while. We're gonna
won
wait.
Last night. They won last night. They beat the
did?
stinking Pacers. They won last night. Yeah.
Well, the Pacers
now,
doesn't
you didn't
count.
bring
I
up
mean,
the
a
Knicks
real
not
win.
one time.
Well,
But
it's convenient that you don't.
Yeah.
Let
The Knicks last night.
me address the elephant in the room then. The New York Knicks lost last night to the Cleveland Cavaliers. First time they've played him since James Harden became a Cavalier. And while statistically, the narrative that Karl Anthony Towns is having a bad year just is not true. If you want to look at a guy solely on what are his cumulative stats this year in comparison to other guys, he's actually having a really good statistical year and a much better year than he did last year. And we all agree he had a good year for the Knicks last year. So herein lies the rub, though. This is why you have to be guys like me and Tyrone to be able to do this for a living. Last night, the New York Knicks, I don't want to say got embarrassed because I didn't think they got embarrassed, but they were playing from behind the entire game, and the offense, as it does too many times this season, just didn't look right. It was never in sync. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, while a decent offensive team, are a lousy or average at best defensive team. That's a team you can score against. And by the way, Donovan Mitchell did not have a good game last night. That being said, I want to focus on Karl Anthony Towns just for 1 second because there's a part of his game that I don't understand, and maybe you can help me out, okay? So last night, the Knicks lose 109-94. They had an 11-point third quarter. That's where the game was lost, in that third quarter. 11 points in the third quarter, okay? But I went to I watched the game, obviously, because I'm a Knicks fan, and it was impossible to watch that second half. That third quarter was embarrassing basketball. But I didn't realize till I woke up this morning, Karl Anthony Towns' stat line. Karl Anthony Towns had 14 points. He had 7 rebounds. How many shots do you think Karl Anthony Towns took?
No, I actually saw a lot of this game because the Sixers was a blowout. So I know,
So Karl Anthony Towns took 5 shots in the entire game last night. Played 29 minutes, which is low for him, obviously. That game was a rout in the fourth quarter, so I understand the coach's decision on that. But how is it that your second best player and the guy that needs to score a minimum of 20 points a game for your offense to be clicking, how do you only take 5 shots? And here's the crazy thing about it. He did not miss a single shot. He was 5 for 5 last night. And I'm watching the game, and he did not commit dumb penalties, only 2 fouls, 2 personal fouls the entire night. Now, only had 7 rebounds, which is part of the problem with him, that he doesn't like playing in the low post as a big man because he likes shooting the ball from 10, 15, 20, 25 feet out. And he's got a great shot, maybe the best outside shooter of any big man in the game for a long, long time. But I'm looking at saying, how does Karl Anthony Towns only take 5 shots? And that's going to be my narrative today about why the Knicks lost. And then I slapped myself in the face, and I said, that's lazy. You're right. 5 shots is not enough for your second best player. And then I went down to OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby, to me, is outside of what, Jalen Brunson having a good night and Karl Anthony Towns doing his thing. What did OG Anunoby do last night? OG last night had 5 points, only made 2 baskets. So while we can yell and scream about Karl Anthony Towns, and we're typically right when we're critical of his game because his game has holes in it, and we see it far too often, the begging for calls, the flopping on the ground, not getting back on defense, not playing smart basketball, all that stuff. OG Anunoby last night made 2 baskets. So then I started looking more in depth. Starting 5 for the Knicks. How many guys of the starting 5 made 7 shots or more last night? And I'm not expecting you to know the answer. The answer is 0.
Was it just Brunson?
None.
Oh, nobody, not even Brunson. Wow.
Jalen Brunson made 6 baskets last night, took 19 shots. Mikal Bridges made 6 baskets last night, took 17 shots. Karl Anthony Towns made 5 shots, only took 5 shots. Josh Hart, who's not there to be a scorer, he's there for everything else. And if you get points out of him because he can't score and he gets to the rack pretty good, that's bonus points. He had 4 made baskets last night. OG Anunoby last night, 2 made baskets. Now, let's go to the bench. Mitchell Robinson is the best offensive rebounder in the game. He had a bunch of putbacks last night, made 5 buckets. Alvarado off the bench, made 2. Kolek off the bench, made 2. Diawara off the bench, made 2. There's not a single guy on the Knicks roster last night that made 7 hoops or more. So I don't care who you play. Play the Cavs, play the Thunder, play the Pacers, play the Wizards, play the Lakers. Doesn't matter. If not a single guy on your roster can make 7 baskets, you are never going to win a basketball game. And that means for me, I now have to start doing what I don't want to do and start looking at the head coach. Because it's impossible for 10 guys on the same team to all be cold on the same night. That doesn't happen. Why did it happen? We'll investigate.
You have like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back. Ooh, I just bit my pen. That hurt. Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. I think I might just chip the tooth. Let me just check. Yeah, well, I'm going to the dentist today anyway at 7:30 tonight, so we'll find out. I want to take you guys back to December, I think it was 7th. You can fact check me out if you want. 2025. Let's go back this day in history if we can for a second. And that was Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big game, right? Big game. Could help decide who wins the that division, AFC North. I don't want to take you to Isaiah Likely in the end zone. Only a couple minutes to go. Lamar Jackson looking, finds Likely, catches the ball, 1 foot down, 2 feet down, ball gets knocked out after the second foot comes down, touchdown on the field. Woohoo! Ravens are going to beat the Steelers. And then all of a sudden there's a review. All scoring plays are reviewed. And the NFL replay office tells the referees, no touchdown. The touchdown is overruled on replay reversal. And everyone's, you remember Tyrone, we're all yelling and screaming, what's a touchdown, what's a catch? He had 2 feet down, he had clear possession, made a quote-unquote football move by walking, and then the defensive back for the Steelers, makes contact with the ball, knocks the ball out, and it's on the ground, but we're celebrating a Ravens touchdown. Troy Vincent came out late yesterday, and said that we want to get things right here. Now, I don't know why they would ever do this. So Troy Vincent came out and said the Isaiah Likely touchdown should have been a touchdown. We got it wrong. And I'm saying to myself, excuse me? Now, this is not like the NBA 2-minute thing where the very next day or that night after NBA action, the NBA says, here's the calls that went the wrong way or we messed up. tonight or last night. I think they do it the day after, so don't quote me on that, but you get the point. It's in the
day
moment.
after. Yeah.
It's game just happened. There was a call that was made or not made. We review the final 2 minutes of every game, and we're very transparent about it. We got every call right. We got this one wrong. We got that one right. And nothing we can do about it now. But for those of you that are yelling and screaming about it, we feel you, and we're not going to put our head in the sands. We're going to acknowledge if our referees get it wrong, and we're going to also promote them. If they get a call right that you didn't like, we're going to be honest about that too. I happen to like the 2-minute review by the NBA. I like how they do it. This one, though, makes no sense to come out, 3 months later after the fact and say, we got it wrong. And here's why. If that call was made right, now to be fair, I think there was about 2 minutes left in the game, so the Steelers, in theory, they get the ball back. Say it again, Ethan, how much?
Yeah. 2:47
left. Okay, so the Steelers are going to get the ball back, and who knows what they do. Obviously, you can't predict what's going to happen next, but let's just pretend for a minute that the Steelers don't score, and the Ravens win that game. Do you understand the impact that call had, not just on who wins the division, but on last year's postseason?
Huge. It's gigantic. The
Baltimore
Giants have a
Ravens
different
going
coach
into the playoffs is a different animal than the Steelers getting in. Good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and literally the domino from that play is what leads to the last game and the missed field goal, which makes the Giants have Harbaugh as the coach. Harbaugh's likely still the coach, or at least possibly still the coach if that happens.
Possibly.
And if you're right about New England being as vulnerable as you think they were, and we saw how poor they were in the playoffs, who's to say the Ravens don't beat that team if they get an opportunity to play them? And it's a completely different outcome in the AFC playoffs.
Right.
Completely different
I'm
outcome.
with you. I don't think the New England Patriots get in to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure that the Texans, win their first game. I have to go back. I don't know what the seeding would have been, to be fair, because everything changes after that as well. But the reality is that the NFL cannot be happy that Troy Vincent put that tweet out yesterday. And I'm not quite sure why Troy Vincent put it out like it's bygones. It happened. I've got my opinion. You've got your opinion. I think we're in lockstep on this one, where I thought it was a catch and a touchdown, and I can't believe they overturned it. So I think you and I agreed on that, this past football season. But the reality is that the play happened. No one's talking about that play. No one's, here a month after the Super Bowl saying, I got to go back to December. I can't believe that Isaiah Likely touchdown didn't count because we all moved past it. We may not have liked it, but we pulled up our boots and we said, all right, let's move on to the next, right? So the other play that Troy Vincent also said that the NFL got wrong was in the same game. Do you remember when the Ravens came in on a blitz and they sacked Aaron Rodgers? And one of the guys, I forget the defensive player, I don't know, it looked like he kind of stripped the ball away from Aaron Rodgers. I guess actually he threw the pass. It was batted back to him, and then Buchanan wrestled the ball away, right? And the question was, all right, so is that Ravens ball? I guess it'd be a fumble, not interception, or was that possession by Aaron Rodgers, knees on the ground, Steelers maintain possession, okay? Well, we all thought that should have been Ravens' ball. And the referees and the replay got that wrong, apparently. And while they said it was a Rodgers catch, the NFL now says that the call on the field, which got it right, which was the interception by the Ravens, should have stood. So a few things on this. That means that the Ravens were the rightful winners of the AFC North, in my opinion. Nothing you can do about it now. It also means that John Harbaugh might have coached the Ravens into the playoffs. Now, I know Steve Bisciotti came out and said that at any point that the Ravens got eliminated, he was going to get rid of Harbaugh anyway. Easy to say that now, but not easy to say it if the Ravens make it to the playoffs and win a wild card game and maybe advance. Right. Who knows what they would have done with Lamar Jackson. That team had won 6 out of 7, and that team was hot at the time that they got eliminated by the Steelers in that final game of the season. But here's the other thing, and the thing that probably bothers me more than that. What's the point of having frame-by-frame, slow-motion replay if the replay is not going to get it right? Like, the only purpose in having frame-by-frame, slow-motion replay is because the referees have human eyes. They're going to get stuff wrong. And we need replay to make sure that they don't get anything wrong. And when they do, the replay can confirm it and overturn it with some level of speed, right? So in this case, the referee in both plays got the call right. And technology failed us and got it wrong. And that makes me think, it always does, was it done on purpose? Was there an ulterior motive from the NFL that Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers make it into the postseason? I can't prove that's the case. I'm not even accusing them of that being the case. But it makes you think, if the human eyes got it right, how did technology get it wrong? And if technology is going to get it wrong, then there's no point in using it.
You know, Craig, I also think that is the real reason why we're hearing about this. I believe the NFL only has certain mechanisms to get rid of referees because they have a union and they have a setup just like the players do to a certain degree. I believe that this was likely public so they can eliminate that person because they're likely thinking perhaps the same thing you are. Maybe it didn't come from Goodell or Troy Vincent in the league office. How do we know it's not a personal agenda from the replay official there? And I think that I would watch it. I think if we go back and look at the game book and we find out who that guy is, we need to find out if he's still doing games in this upcoming season. I believe, in my opinion, this was a setup to eliminate that replay official because of him getting many things wrong.
That's a much deeper conspiracy theory than I was even going with. But yeah, you know what? Let's find out if that guy's got a Kalshi account or a Polymarket account. Now, I'll be fair about one thing. When you do watch those plays in replay, it's a bit of a, how do you interpret the rule? Right? There's a little bit of that. Now, I thought it was very clear on both. I thought Rodgers had the ball taken away from him before he had possession and a knee down. That's what I thought at the time. I also thought at the time, because you and I discussed it here, I think we both thought the same thing, that likely should have been given credit for a touchdown. I thought that in the moment live. So I'll give him a little teeny bit of grace that it was not necessarily a black and white that's so obvious. I just thought that the refs got it right and replay got it wrong. And because of the lack of integrity in all sports these days, I do have to ask the question, who profited off those two decisions? And we're going to get to the bottom of that at some point in the near future. I promise you that. More coming up after this.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
George Rutschman is an interesting one here. I mean, this was somebody that we were told was going to be a superstar. I feel like we've done this now with back-to-back young catchers on Baltimore that they've taken. They've taken Matt Wieters. Remember when they took him super high and everyone thought he was the second coming? Then they took Adley Rutschman. I guess the good news is they have Sam Basallo, who's supposed to be fantastic too, but can't whiff on three like that, can you?
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
to the Craig Carton Show. Just a quick moment, if I may. Away from sports, if you guys will indulge me here for a second. There are 17 nominees for this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is far too many. There's about half of them are first-time nominees, and the other ones have not gotten in despite being eligible earlier. So I'm going to go down this very fast, Tyrone, you and I together. I'm just going to go in the order I have it in front of me. I'm not sure if that matches the order on your screen. I think it probably does. And I just want very quickly a yay or a nay. And this is how we're going to do it. On the ones you and I agree on, they're in the Hall of Fame. If you and I have a discrepancy, we'll come back and we'll see if we can figure it out. You ready to go?
Yep.
All right, the Black Crows, you go first. Yay or nay?
I'm going to go yay.
I'm going to go nay, so they're out. Jeff Buckley, first-time nominee, yay or nay?
I'm going to go nay.
I'm going to go nay as well. Jeff Buckley's out. This one I think is an easy one. And I can't believe this is the first time. How is Mariah Carey being nominated for the first time this year? I think we're both yays on that. Is that obvious?
Absolutely.
Okay, Mariah Carey, congratulations. You're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Nice. There you go. All right. Phil Collins is in as a member of Genesis. He was the drummer and singer for Genesis. He also had a pretty spectacular solo career. Phil Collins as a solo act. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Say it again?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, I say yay too. Congratulations, Phil. Phil Collins, everybody, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, here's an interesting one. Again, I'm shocked this is her first time on the ballot. Melissa Etheridge, yay or nay?
I have to go yay here because there's a certain demographic that just adores her, and just because I'm not a part of that demographic, I don't take points off.
I'm going to say yay as well for a different reason. Because every one of us, every guy watching this show, at one point in their lives, stood outside the house of the girl they were in love with and yelled, "Come to my window." So,
there you go.
Melissa Etheridge, congratulations, in the Hall of Fame. First-time nominee. I think her first stage performance in a long time was at the Grammys, and she killed it. Lauryn Hill, yay or nay?
As a solo act, no for me.
I am a no as well. Has not done enough music to get into the Hall of Fame, and I'm a huge fan of hers. Here's an interesting one. Billy Idol's been nominated before. He's never gotten in. Billy Idol today, yay or nay?
For some reason, it screams no to me.
I'm a nay as well. Billy Idol, to me, was a, how do I have to say this appropriately? He was kind of like a carnival act, Billy Idol.
There you go.
I say nay to Billy Idol. First time nominated. Some people call them the Inks. It's really In Excess. I believe their lead singer took his own life with a sexual auto gratification, tied a noose around his neck in an attempt to have the big O, and nobody took him down, and unfortunately he passed away. In Excess, yay or nay?
Because of the story, apparently he did that because he hit his head on a curb after a fight and indulged his senses. But because of that story, they're in. I
say nay, so they're out. You'd put him in because he accidentally killed himself during sex?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a weird reason to put a guy in.
What's more rock and roll than that? What's more rock and roll than that? What's more rock and roll than that?
All right, quickly. Iron Maiden, I say nay.
I say yay.
All right, so they're out. Joy Division, New Order. I'd love to tell you I know who they are. I don't, so that's a nay.
That's also a nay for me because I don't know their music.
Okay, first time on the ballot. New Edition. Man, I'm saying yay to New Edition.
Absolutely, they're in.
All right, New Edition's it. They really started the boy band thing, which hadn't happened since the Osmonds and the Jackson 5. New Edition is the first, and then Belle Biv DeVoe, and then NSYNC, and then 98 Degrees. So I give New Edition some credit for that. So New Edition, congratulations. You boys are now in the Hall of Fame. Oasis, that's a nay for me.
That's a nay.
Okay, first time on the ballot. Pink, I think Pink's an obvious yes. You don't know it, but Pink's got like 25 hits that you know every word to.
She does.
Yeah, I think she's one of the great songwriters as well.
My wife's a huge fan. Like, I think that's her favorite artist she's in.
Okay. Sade, crossed the coast from LA to Chicago, Western bound, not in the Hall of Fame.
For me, she is a Hall of Famer.
Okay, so she doesn't get in. No, we need a unanimous ballot here. Shakira. If it's about ass shaking, she's in. If it's about inability to sing, she ain't never getting in. Shakira's not a Hall of Famer.
I agree. She's not.
Okay, 2 to go. Be interesting how we vote on these two. First time on the ballot, which is crazy to me. Luther Vandross. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book.
A stone Hall of Famer. Shocked it's taking this long. He's been passed away for a long time now.
Yeah, at least a decade, I think. And then the final one, again, first time on the ballot. I think their longtime producer sadly just passed away yesterday. The Wu-Tang Clan. I think Wu-Tang, because of their influence on music, not just rap music, and their use of songs that they sampled, I think Wu-Tang Clan is an absolute no-brain Hall of Famer.
Absolutely agree. And you're talking about one of the only groups ever to go platinum in a first week back when sales really mattered. They sold 1 million copies in week 1.
And one of the great things about Wu-Tang Clan, and you could say the same thing back in the day about NWA, is they're the majority, not all, the far majority of their songs were never played on the radio. And think about the impact those two groups had on the culture, on the music, and on rap. And most of their songs never got heard on the radio. It was a word-of-mouth thing, cassette tape to cassette tape, house party to house party. But I agree, Wu-Tang Clan, first time on the ballot, first ballot, Hall of Famers. By the way,
absolutely,
we were in lockstep on pretty much all those. There's like 2 or 3 we disagreed on. Yeah.
I think this is a pretty good list. This is a strong list. Not that it shouldn't be with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How many people did we end up putting in? Did you count them? How many people we ended up putting in?
We put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We put in 7. We put in
That's
Wu-Tang.
about right.
We put in Luther Vandross. We put in Pink. We put in New Edition. We put in Melissa Etheridge, 5. We put in Phil Collins, 6. We put in Mariah Carey, 7. That's it. 7 out of 17.
I think that's about right.
And
that's about right.
That's a hell of a class that me and Tyrone just put into the Hall of Fame. Matter of fact, I bet you our list is going to be better than the list that gets in.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. Because they're going to put somebody in who doesn't deserve it. You're absolutely right about that.
Now, I don't know enough about Jeff Buckley, to be honest. I know the name. I don't know about Joy Division New Order. Sade had that one album, you know. Lauryn Hill hasn't done enough music to get into the Hall of Fame, but she has some iconic songs. So I think our list is pretty damn good. Make your own list at home.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
George Rutschman is an interesting one here. I mean, this was somebody that we were told was going to be a superstar. I feel like we've done this now with back-to-back young catchers on Baltimore that they've taken. They've taken Matt Wieters. Remember when they took him super high and everyone thought he was the second coming? Then they took Adley Rutschman. I guess the good news is they have Sam Basallo, who's supposed to be fantastic too, but can't whiff on 3 like that, can you?
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. Some news and notes from sports that we need to get to before we skedaddle for the day. Number one, first time since Ken Griffey Jr., which I think dates back to the late 80s, that we have a chance of having a teenager on an opening day roster in Major League Baseball. Obviously, other teenagers have come up during the season, but it's not. But I think 1989, is the actual year that Ken Griffey Jr. was a rookie in the lineup on opening day. So guys like Bryce Harper, who played as a teenager, I shouldn't say rookie, I apologize, a teenager, not a rookie. So Bryce Harper, I think, played at some point as a teenager, but he came up later in the year.
Opening day.
So, which is amazing. So we're talking almost 40 years since Major League Baseball had a teenager playing, or at least on the roster, on opening day. And there's a guy in Pittsburgh whose name is Connor Griffin. He is 19 years old. And folks that cover the Pirates believe he is going to make their opening day roster, which will be the first time since Ken Griffey Jr. So he doesn't have big shoes to fill or nothing.
Yeah, this kid, he looks like a stud, this kid, but
He
that's a
doesn't look 19,
lot
I'll
of
tell you
pressure.
that.
No,
Like,
no,
does
no.
that kid
6'4",
look like he's 19?
Absolutely not. He looks 30. I think he's going to be a stud, but who knows? But it would be great for the Pittsburgh fans if this kid was a stud.
Well,
Him and skis at the same time.
Here's the other thing. In a separate story, it's somewhat related. The New York Yankees wanted to announce that they welcome Connor Griffin to their team 5 years from now, when the Pittsburgh Pirates decide that they ain't paying him like they ain't paying anybody else. So, future Yankee Connor Griffin right there. That's number one. Number two, real quick. If I told you right now that there is still a Division 1A basketball team that is undefeated, and you took me at my word, where do you think they'd be ranked in the top 25? And I'm not going to say the team till after.
No. I remember St. Joe's being a smaller school, and when they were undefeated for that long time with Phil Martelli as the coach, they were in the top, I think they were in the top 7 or 8 before teams. So I'd 7, 8, anywhere 6 to 10.
So bottom part of the top 10, that type of thing?
Yeah.
So Ben Roethlisberger's alma mater, Miami of Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Is 28-0. They're the only undefeated team left in Division 1A basketball. All right, now, to be fair, they play teams like you see there on that list, Ohio, Toledo, Western Michigan, but they dominate. They're the best team in that conference, and they are 28-0. They are currently ranked. There are two different polls. You know, the coaches poll and the AP poll. In one of the polls, they're ranked 25th. They just made it for the first time this year into the top 25. The other poll, they also just made it in. They're 21st, meaning there's the possibility that if they go undefeated in the regular season, okay, and they somehow get upset in their conference tournament, that they could be, make it up, 33-1 and not get into the NCAA tournament. That's on the table because of who they play and their strength of schedule.
Yeah, but that's shameful because their schedule's not their fault. They're dominating teams. I'm not saying they should be, again, up above Arizona and Duke and Michigan, not those teams, but I believe they should be higher. Like, they should not be behind teams with 7 losses. That's a mistake. And that's a team you probably don't want to see in the tournament because they know how to win. You don't want to play teams that really know how to win in the tournament.
And it's the old kind of stereotype. It's like, they play smart, fundamental basketball. You go up against a better athletic team, which is what they'd face in the tournament. It's like the whole Pete Carroll thing at Princeton. He never really did much in the tournament, but he was a team nobody wanted to play with the backdoor cuts, taking every second of the shot clock and playing smart basketball. Just interesting to me that they're 28-0, and they just now got into the top 25 this week. And if they don't win the conference tournament, there's a good chance they don't get in because the strength of schedule is not going to be anywhere close to the teams that are going to get in. And then final thing for you, Tyrone.
This up now. Oh, no, real fast. They're the first team since UNLV to be 28-0 and average over 90 points a game. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Since the run at Rebs. This is ridiculous. They're not.
And, and by the way, until I came in today, I couldn't tell you a single thing about them today. So I'm guilty of that as well. Yeah. And final thing real quick. We have about a minute to go here. Top 4 highest paid quarterbacks in the history of football based on cumulative wealth. 3 of them have won at least 1 Super Bowl. One of them has never been to a Super Bowl. Can you name the outlier?
It has to be a
I'll
business
tell you the
person.
money.
It has to be.
I'll tell you the money. The guy that's number one on the list has made $403 million. The guy that's number 2 has made $395. The guy that's number 3 made $333, and the guy that's number 4 made $322. So they're all $300 million plus. 3 of those guys won Super Bowls. 1 of those guys has never been to a Super Bowl. Name that guy.
I know the answer. I know the answer because you want him on your team. And
Yes, I do.
he is in the Business Hall of Fame. Yes. That's got to be Kirk Cousins, Mr. Businessman Hall of Famer.
Kirk Cousins, $322 million. Tom Brady, $333 million. Aaron Rodgers, $395. Matthew Stafford, $403. 3 Super Bowls, 1 guy without a Super Bowl.